criticism over the last 20 months has been that we're a one-man band.
Our next story is from the UK. It's about a teenager's murder, a sacred article of faith, and a political battle over religious freedom and public safety. In the UK, a case that started out as a tragic killing is now sparking a national debate about where religious rights end and public security begins. The story centers on the murder of an 18-year-old university student in Southampton last December. A court has now found British-born Sikh Vikram Singh guilty of stabbing the teenager to death using a 21-centimeter Kirpan. His mother, Kiran Kaur, was also convicted after being found guilty of helping remove the weapon from the scene. The verdict has done more than close a criminal trial. It has opened a much larger conversation and debate about the Kirpan itself, which is an object that is both a blade and a sacred symbol, of course. For observers unfamiliar with the Sikh faith, the Kirpan is not simply a knife, it's one of the 5 articles of faith. It symbolizes duty, justice, courage, and also the responsibility to protect the weak. And for many Sikhs, wearing a Kirpan is not just a choice of accessory, but also an expression of religious identity. British law has long recognized that distinction, in fact. Under the Criminal Justice Act of 1988, Sikhs are exempt from certain restrictions on carrying blades in public. The law accepts that a Kirpan may be carried for religious reasons, but as certain items may be worn as part of national or cultural dress. However, the legal protection applies to possession and not misuse. The moment it is used in an act of violence, it is treated as an offensive weapon under the law. And that distinction is now at the heart of a political storm in the UK. Following the conviction, Reform UK, the party led by Farage, has called for the religious exemption to be reviewed or removed. Senior party figures arguing that no bladed object should be exempt from public carry laws, regardless of its religious significance. In fact, they say this case, according to them, has exposed a gap in the law that needs to be closed. Supporters of the current legislation disagree. Sikh organizations have reportedly warned against using a single criminal case to judge an entire community or a religious practice observed peacefully for generations. And they argue that the issue is not about the Kirpan itself, but the individual who chose to abuse its legal and spiritual purpose, according to them. The debate has also raised concerns about community relations in the aftermath of the trial. The UK Sikh Federation wrote to the government seeking greater recognition of anti-Sikh hate crimes. They are seeking one which is similar to recognizing anti-Jewish and anti-Muslim incidents, reportedly. So this case is not just a murder investigation. It's a national discussion about faith, law, security, and identity. Let's now talk about artificial intelligence, which is reshaping workplaces across the world, of course, in America as well. A new study suggesting that millions of workers could soon face major changes to the way they earn a living. While at the same time, memory chips are driving a historic stock rally across the Wall Street, sending shares of tech companies soaring. A framework published by OpenAI offers a preview of how AI could actually affect the US labor market in the near term. While the analysis shows that nearly half of all jobs, around 46%, are likely to experience little immediate impact from AI adoption, the study also indicating that change is coming for a large section of the workforce. Around 24% of the jobs could undergo significant reorganization as AI takes over certain tasks, while workers shift their focus to others. More notably, OpenAI's research places roughly 1 in 5 jobs or 18% in the high-risk category for automation. At the same time, only about 12% of the jobs could see growth as AI lowers costs, boosts productivity, and expands the demand for specific services. In fact, while the report stresses that AI exposure does not automatically mean job losses, instead outcomes depend on factors like the continued need for human involvement and whether rising demand can actually offset efficiency-driven reductions in labor requirements. The findings suggesting that AI is more likely to transform job responsibilities and workflows than eliminate entire professions overnight. At the same time, a Bank of America report is also sounding the alarm on AI and its impact on global employment. The report says 24% of the jobs worldwide, or roughly around 838 million positions, are exposed to generative AI. And that's not a distant threat. It's happening right now. According to the report, high-income countries face the greatest risk. Around 33% of their workforce is exposed. And for around 6% of the roles, the exposure is at its highest level. By contrast, low-income countries face far less disruption, their exposure sitting at 11%, roughly one-third of what the wealthier nations are seeing. Even as workers and countries weigh the risks, investors are betting heavily on AI's future. According to Dow Jones market data, chip stocks helped drive the S&P 500 up 16% across April and May. A 2-month rally matched reportedly only 4 other times since 1950. Analysts at Goldman Sachs have reportedly raised their year-end target for the index to 8,000 from 7,600, citing strong earnings and growing demand for AI infrastructure. Even as the markets continue to navigate concerns over the West Asia conflict and the rising inflation, for now it appears AI is creating both opportunity and also uncertainty, fueling a Wall Street boom on end while raising serious questions about the future of work itself. Are you an Elvis Presley fan? Let me ask you, is Donald Trump, according to you, bigger than the king of rock and roll? Well, Trump definitely thinks so. And he has reportedly claimed he was much larger than Elvis Presley. This comes after several artists withdrew from a concert series linked to his administration's celebrations of America's 250th anniversary. But Trump is unfazed to the extent that he has reportedly suggested he could replace the performers himself. And are you wondering if Trump is going to sing himself? With Trump, you can never know, but as of now, reportedly, he has suggested that one of the planned concerts in Washington, D.C. could be turned into a political rally, delivering what he described as a major speech instead. Here's what happened. On Friday, reportedly, several musicians distanced themselves from Freedom 250. What is that? In case you're unaware, it's basically a public-private partnership established by the Trump administration to commemorate the 250th anniversary of American independence. The artists were reportedly supposed to perform during the Great American State Fair, a series of events that will take place in Washington, D.C. between June 25 and the 10th of July. And why did the artists pull out? Many of the artists who pulled out reportedly said they had been misled about its political stance. And with the artists backing out, the updates definitely would not have been music to Trump's ears, who then put out a rant essentially suggesting that he could be the replacement act and replace the scheduled entertainment event with a rally headlined by him. What happens here onwards remains to be seen, and we've definitely not heard the last of this.